There I go. Wow, there I go. There I go. Like the good old days, right? Having those technical issues like the good old days. It's been a minute since I've been here on StreamYard, Facebook, and YouTube simultaneously. And you might say, hey, Coach B, what brought you out tonight? This is Saturday. This is not even Monday morning magic. And the last time I was on air with you, I had shared that I was trying to tweak some things and figure out which way I wanted to go. What did I want to do? So we had switched the time to the evening time, and we didn't get the response that we wanted. And then some things happened in my life, for full accountability and transparency, and I wasn't able to make it. But I'm back now. It's 2025, and what I'm considering and committing to is Saturday. So I'm thinking Saturdays, maybe at 6 p.m. I'll give it a nice title, Solution Saturdays at 6, something to that effect. I'm still working it out in my head. But anyway, what brings me out tonight? What brings me out tonight? Let me first say Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's to you. Happy New Year's, Happy New Year's, Happy New Year's. This is 2025. And I can tell you right now, in so many ways, in so many ways, people are up in an uproar. 2025 came in. We had the situation in California that is an ongoing situation. We had the new president elect step into office. Then there was deportation. And then there was, oh, we're not going to do DEI. And then, no, we're shutting the federal government down on certain levels. And I don't know about you, you may fit in one of those categories of things that are happening. What do I mean? Maybe it doesn't impact you directly, but maybe it affects your family, someone in your community, a friend, a colleague, a co-worker. I got a love sign already. Thank you for the love. It affects somebody, either you, somebody you know, somebody that you care about. And the reason why I'm here tonight is that I want to be a stand. I want to be a stand in this moment. See, some, like I said, and you know what? You are entitled to feel the way you want to feel. But we have a saying out in the world, it's a fact that we feel, but feelings aren't fact. So what this is doing for a lot of us is having us to take a step back and assess and evaluate what our circumstances are looking like right now. So I'm going to speak from the personal I. I am a minority woman owned business enterprise. What does that tell you right there? I am, hold on, somebody, let me see if I can see this comment. Somebody is joined. Very true. Thank you so much. So what's happening is I'm an MWBE, and I don't know if you know the history of that, but it was created to give minority people, women, people of color, an opportunity to contract with the state and with the city. So there's two MWBEs. There's one for the state, one for the city. So I'm not an MWBE for the feds, the federal government, but I am for the state and the city. So I have that question, just like everybody else has a question. How would that impact my business? How will that impact my livelihood? How will that impact what it is that I'm trying to build for myself? I don't know if some of y'all are familiar with Tabitha Brown. Tabitha Brown, she's a motivational speaker. Love her. Love her demeanor, love her personality, love everything about her. I love her YouTube channel. I love to listen to what she has to say. She has products inside of Target. She has the same questions just like I do. We are in different entities of businesses, but because we're women and we're black or African American, whichever way you want to describe it, identify it, it's a thing. I've seen on YouTube, I've seen on Facebook, my friends, community members, family members, I'm not going here, I'm not going there, I'm not shopping here, I'm not going there. Guess what? You are entitled to do that. It's called conscious spending. Now, this mindset of conscious, being conscientious about where you spend your money, this is not a new concept. This is not a new concept. This concept has been around for many years, a few decades. Hey, we want to spend our money in a way that's sustainable and one that's equitable. So this concept is not new. So let me stop there by saying that's what's happening in the world. That's what's happening in the world. Now, that's the report of what's happening in the world. And I'm so glad that I have a coach because I was going through feelings the other day. I was going through some feelings the other day. And my coach asked me, how can I show up powerfully? How can I show up powerfully in this moment? Do I run and hide? Do I start pointing the finger and blaming this, blaming that, and going down the road of anger and resentment? Or do I show up powerfully? And what does that mean for me? And it could mean for you. How do I take a breath? How do I breathe? Am I in a panic? Do I just step back, take a deep breath, blow out the fear, the anxiety, and the resentment, and inhale some peace and some serenity and some acceptance so that I can have a clear mind and map out what it is that I want to do. What is it that I want to create? How can I be support to my family? How can I be a support to my community? How can I be of support to my friends, my family, and community? How can I be a stand? How can I be a support? And what I thought about was this is a way that I could be a support. So I want to say I'm human. I have feelings. I have emotions. What's going on in the world impacts me too. And just like so many other people, let me use the people in California for a second. They're coming together as a community. And they're making decisions about how they want to rise and how they want to rebuild. Those that are dealing with immigration issues, they're making a decision on how they want to show up. Now, let me tell you this. I could wake up in the morning and be stressed out. I could. That's a choice. I could. And the reason why I say I could wake up tomorrow stressed out, because that's a choice whether or not I'm stressed or whether or not I'm serene. And you might say, Coach B, that is impossible. No, it's not impossible. It's not impossible, it's a choice. Because what happens is situations will arise, and what I give meaning to the situation will change how I'm feeling about myself and the situation, and it will have a biological effect on me. Let me give you a clear example. If I wake up stressed out because I think everybody's out to get me, they don't want to have, want me to have nothing. A sister can't make it. They don't want to see me look good, do good. They don't want to see me have nothing. Guess what I'm doing? I'm fighting a boogeyman. I'm fighting something that I really can't put my hands on. Who's they in this equation? What kind of emotions will that bring up? And chances are, because if I take that victim state that everybody is doing something to me, they don't want to see me shine, they don't want to see me make it. If I have that state of mind, then I'm feeling like a victim. And if I'm feeling like a victim, chances are I'm going to act like a victim. Let me say that again. Chances are, if I feel like a victim, I'm going to act like a victim. And you might say, well, Coach B, listen, that's not realistic. No, some of these things are out of people's hands. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And what do I mean by that? The people who lost their homes in California, they didn't wake up that morning and say, hey, I want to lose my home this morning. They didn't say that, right? They didn't wake up in the morning and say, hey, I want the insurance companies to step back and not give us insurance for when a natural disaster happens. They didn't say, they didn't create and do all of that. And yet, as a community, they're coming together, bringing in resources, and doing what they can do for today. They understand that they're in a place where they need to make some decisions, and being overly emotional and not being able to think clearly is not going to help the situation. Matter of fact, it's going to make the situation worse, because guess what? It's going to impact them on an emotional level, on a physical level, and on a spiritual level. Those who are going through those situations that are banding together, utilizing support, relying on their community, staying faithful, doing the best that they can, will have a higher rate of survival than those who say F it, than those who become apathetic and just throw their hands up and say, I don't care. I'm not dealing with this no more. I'm tired. Every time I get ahead, something always happens. I can't never seem to make it. You know the song. The ones with apathy, the ones that don't care no more, versus the ones that care and want to be proactive in their life, those are the ones that are going to deal with the setbacks, and they're going to create a plan that's going to work for their current situation. And I want to take a stand with you by providing you with some information. And my information as a coach is going to be questions, some thought-provoking ideas, and some concepts that have you sit back in the moment, take a deep breath, and start thinking about, how do you want to show up in this moment? As I said, and I just gave 3 or 4 examples, so many things are happening in our world right now, and it seems to be back to 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 back. It's like you turn your head one way there's something going on. You turn your head the other way, something is going on. You look behind you, something is going on. And then with everything else that's coming down the pike, you're looking ahead and you're like, oh my God. People feel overwhelmed right now. People are afraid. People are overwhelmed. They are scared. They are overwhelmed. They are frustrated. They are angry. People got their fists up in the air right now. What do we do? What should I do? What can I do? And for some people, they're dealing with multiple issues at one time. And like I said, I'll go back to California. Imagine this. You lose your home. Maybe it's not fully paid for. And you still got to pay mortgage. And you have to live in today. Meaning that you still have to eat. You still have to have a roof over your head. You still have to have some place to stay. And knowing that in order to rebuild, it's going to take years. Again, the people that are in the communities that are asking for support, utilizing support, banding together, and doing what they need to do to give themselves strength and to be a sustain and support for somebody else. Those are the ones that are going to pull through. How do I know? We see it all the time. How do I know? I remember, not as bad as the California fires, but I remember Sandy, Hurricane Sandy in New York City. I remember that. I remember that. And I watched our community come together. I remember the World Trade Centers. I watched us come together. So I have reference points in my life that the world could get chaotic and it could seem like everything is coming to an end. And then I could look back and say, to a degree, right? I could look back on that, the things that have impacted my world personally, the World Trade Center and Sandy, and I could look back and say, well, how did we get through this? How did we get through those catastrophes? COVID, the pandemic. How did we get through that? And notice everything that I'm saying, these are world events. World events that we didn't have power over, but we were impacted by. And those that were able to utilize support, sit back, not saying that they didn't feel, I'm not saying that, but the ones that were able to sit back and find strength, find their superpower, be it in their community, whether it was integrity, endurance, reliability, whatever characteristic that they had to make it through, those are the ones that made it through. Now, some people, like in California, some things, and I have to be careful because I'm on YouTube, so I'm trying to be mindful of the language that I use. Some people did have to go through a little bit more than others. Some people did not see the other side of it. Some people didn't see the other side of it. But the ones that remained had a responsibility. And their responsibility was to take a stand. with their community, with their families, and with their friends to support each other through whatever it is that we're going through. We have a right to say where we want to spend our money. We have a right to sit down, to take a moment, take a deep breath, and create a plan on how we want to do. Again, we don't have to be a victim, but we can be powerful in how we choose to show up in these scenarios. And you know what? Some days you're going to need somebody else to be that powerhouse for you. So, one of my favorite questions is, who's in your support group? Who can you talk to? Who can you lean on? And are you asking for help if you need it? If you want it, are you asking for help? Please know that we don't have to do anything by ourselves. So maybe it's calling up a friend, maybe it's calling up a colleague, maybe it's checking in on somebody in your community, a neighbor, or what have you. We don't have to deal with these things by ourselves. And some things we don't have any power over. So I don't have power over Sandy, the hurricanes, the fires, the different things like that. I don't have power over that. But where my superpower lies is in this. I have power in how I choose to manage my emotions. I have power in how I choose to manage my thought process. I have power in whether or not I choose to be a victim or whether or not I choose to be a stand. If you want to ride with me, I'll be here Saturdays again. I'm really thinking about 6 o'clock on Saturdays so that if you want to chime in next week, I'll put the invite link in the description. And if you hit the link and you want to come up and have a lively conversation about what you're feeling, what you're going through, there will be an opportunity, right, for us to build, to co-create an extraordinary outcome in the moment, in the now. That's what I have to offer. That's what I have to offer. This is how I can be a stand. This is what I have to offer. Maybe there's something in the way that we're showing up that can be changed in that moment of now that can be powerful. As I said earlier, I was so glad because the other day I got a chance to talk to my coach and she was like, hey, listen, how do you want to show up? Who are you? Who do you want to be? What are you giving meaning to? Because a lot of times we have situations and we give it so much meaning. And then that meaning is never positive, it's destructive. And we wear ourselves out. Then, once we're worn out, we can't even show up for ourselves or anybody else. So, let's be community. Let's support each other. Let's take a stand. Because we are definitely in for the ride of our lives. We are definitely in for a ride. Listen, we're not even a whole 30 days in. We're not even a whole 30 days in. And listen, I want to be on the positive side. I want to be on the solution side. So I want to hear what you got going on in your life. What you up to? What you doing? What you up to? What you doing in your life? What is it that you want to accomplish? Where are you getting stuck at? Let's see if we can get you back on track. So the goal here is not to get lost in all of that other stuff that's going on. Not to get lost in it, but let's show up powerfully and let's not be victims. Let's show up powerfully and Let me see if I can remember how to do all of this because it's been a minute. Let's show up powerfully. Remember, we are not victims. We are not victims. We are not victims. We get to choose how we want to show up. Who do we want to be in the moment so that we can show up powerfully so that we can change. We can change our mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual state. Again, if I'm apathetic, I'm going to wear myself out. But if I am in the mindset, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, like, yo, I'm going to be okay. Let me just sit down and figure this thing out with a clear head, clear heart, and let's put some things, let me put the footwork in. I'm going to be all right. Like I said, I've been around for a minute. I've seen some things happen. And in the beginning of those things, I didn't think I was going to make it through. But I have enough reference points today to know that, you know what? I've been here, and I've been here. So I got reference points to show me that if I show up, everything is going to be okay. Thanks for spending some time with me on this Saturday evening. I hope that I shared or said something that was useful and powerful for you. I'll see you next Saturday.